going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got the boys at We Cricket with their Golden Ducks podcast. Of course, we've got Ashes debate, another England humiliating collapse, and a disastrous Ashes series, and what's next for the England cricket team. Now, again, I was actually going to just make my own video, going through the entire series and kind of just sitting down here for the next 20-25 minutes and talking through what's next for the Australian Test team and the England team, what are the pros and cons for each team. But I thought, since instead of just being a loner and doing it by myself, I thought I'd join the boys at We Cricket, see what they have to say, and just kind of give my opinions back and forth. I feel like it's better, to do these where it's at least three people's opinions than just mine. And at least I get, the side of, an Australian, and then you get to hear from an Englishman, which completely both sides. I'm smiling. We just demolished them 4-0. Could have easily been 5-0. The Pommy fans, they'd be crying themselves to sleep every night, because I know I would. But hey, if you guys are new, subscribe. Let's check it out. Let's go. Let's see what the lads have to say.
Welcome back everyone to the Golden Ducks podcast. The Ashes are finally over.
What the hell is this? Hey. Get your sponsor. Get your sponsor. But unless they're sponsoring me, no free shout outs, baby. Let's skip through that real quick. Shout out to Dale Stain though.
Do you?
Looking very sexy there, Dale. Well done.
If you were looking for like a real kind of highlight for that highlight might be the wrong choice of word actually. A brief summary of that entire series. If you just rewatch kind of the last, I don't know, couple of hours, and you'd see England lose 10 wickets for 56 runs.
That sums it up.
Just feels like the perfect way to end it.
Yep.
Really.
No, it does. Yeah, it had to end like that, really, didn't it? Yeah. It would have been unfair to end it in any other way. It would have been unfair for England to win it, because that would have been... Say if it was 3-1, that would be like the weirdest scoreline I think I'd ever seen. Yeah. Like, they would have been so kind of against what's happened in this series. But like you say, it's ended in the perfect way. Australia have outplayed England completely in in every single aspect. In pretty much every single session, it feels like anyway. You can count on one hand how many sessions England have won in this entire series.
Yep. Two, maybe three.
Yeah, for it to end like that is about as fitting as I think cricket can possibly get.
I think so, yeah. And I mean, you've got to look back at Sydney, and you've got to look at the curator or the grounds person, whatever the technical term is for that, the person that makes the pitch. But you've got to look back at Sydney and go, why on earth did they produce something that was even capable of providing a draw? Like, that wasn't a great pitch of Test cricket at all. It was kind of exciting at the end, but incidentally, just because England were 9 down. But God, that was the easiest 5-0 Australia could have ever had, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously the discussion. The one thing that I guess Pat Cummins did wrong this entire series was in that SCG Test match, did not declare. I mean, we did not need 840 million runs on the board. We could have declared with only a lead of 300, and that would have been enough. We would have had a couple more hours to bowl. We would have taken at least one more goddamn wicket to win that match 5-0. But, I think the SCG, they did a decent job. I mean, there wasn't much room for spin, but I thought it was a really fun Test match.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It just rained a little bit.
Anything like any of the other pitches. It was a bowler series, wasn't it? Yeah. The whole series was dominated by bowlers, mainly Australian bowlers. Because they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Bowlers.
Scotty!
How good that Australian attack. I don't think you can really... Because obviously we focus so heavily on how shit England have been, and they have been bad. But Australia really are so relentless with their lines and with their lengths, and they never, ever seem to waver from that. And I think it's easy to forget that when you're getting bowled out for 100 and you're getting bowled out for 80 and you're getting bowled out left, right and centre. But they have been fantastic. And it is, like I say, it is easy to forget that. But just kind of the thing that kept annoying me was the kind of people kept going, well, it's the hope that kills you. There shouldn't be any hope left. It was still at 68 for no loss. There was still like a, well, maybe.
Nothing.
Like surely, and I think it comes from the fact that surely one time they're not going to be totally shit.
Yeah.
And in this series, they just couldn't. They couldn't do that.
But I think
they couldn't be the opposite.
Okay, just a little disclaimer. I'm laughing at how they. He said there was hope. No one should have hope with this Test team. I have to agree. I mean, when they came to Australia before, I was on the the big side of... I was on the side of this will not be a competitive series. I knew like I'm a time traveler, but I had a pretty strong idea in my mind of how this series was going to play, and my predicted score was 4-0. So, at least I got that right. I think I might have said actually 4-1, but we always get the SCG test match always gets rained or drawn, but I don't know what England fans were having hope for. I don't think there should have been much.
Shit.
I think that was similar to the reaction to Crawley's runs at Sydney, that 77. I think it was so, as I think I said, people got so giddy at the fact that somebody scored some runs that wasn't Joe Root.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden that we're looking at people that are going to be the future and all this, that, and the other. This group, this organisation, this outfit, whatever you want to call it, this is going to take months and months of rebuilding kind of trust and form and hope for people, I think, to really get back into. It's nice to put a tweet out, isn't it, and go, well, it's the hope that gets you. But as you said, quite rightly, over the last 18 months, if not longer, there should be very little to no hope left.
10 for 56 in 23 overs, essentially.
Yeah.
They threw it. They threw it away.
I mean, there were some good things from the bowlers early on in the day. Mark Wood, a great performance from him. He deserved it as well, because you looked at his numbers prior to this game, and you're kind of like, well, it doesn't really tell the full story. But I think he's ended up with an average of about 26 in the series. So I think that does.
Mark Wood, like I always liked Mark Wood even before this series, but he just showed a new level of respect. And I can tell you what, there is not one person in Australia that dislikes Mark Wood or doesn't think he's a good bowler. He is world class, and he should be on. I'm actually unsure how old Woody is, but at least for the next Ashes series, any series that is in England or that's in Australia or that's in the West Indies, he should be on the first plane. He should be the first picked, because on these fast, swinging, bouncy pitches in the Windies, Australia, England, he should be the first picked every single time. World class. He is so good.
His
Impressed
series,
me
he's
so
worked
much.
really hard for his wickets, and
this entire series.
He's done well to. I think he's picked up 15 in the end, so I think that's a great series for him. And in these, he's picked up 17 wickets at 26.6.
17. Wow.
So a really good series for him, and a fine effort from somebody who puts a lot of effort in and has finally got his reward.
Yeah.
He's been the standout player for England in this series, for me anyway, by an absolute mile. Yeah. He's everything really that I want from an international sportsman. You get the impression, you get to the end of a day, there is absolutely nothing left in the tank. He walked off going, oh, well, I could have tried a bit harder today. And I think for that is so admirable, and I mean he's head and shoulders above the rest of these England players for me.
I thought England bowled well. They did a great job with the ball to get themselves kind of back into that game. Woakes obviously getting the wicket with the no ball, that was just so frustrating. And I know it means nothing now at this stage, but it was so fucking annoying.
This test match,
it happened.
One kind of what do they say? One swallow doesn't make a summer or something like that. I don't know what the phrase is, and this obviously doesn't kind of escape them of all criticism throughout the entire series. But I think what it has done, helpfully as well, is kind of, it must have nullified some of those kind of, well, the bowlers aren't great either kind of argument. Yeah, okay, they haven't been for the entire series. They didn't start that well,
but I think...
But
no.
this proves here, this game alone proves that the bowlers have done absolutely everything they possibly can do to win this test match.
Again, just on the England bowlers, obviously there were selection mistakes with no Stuart Broad or no Jimmy Anderson in that first test. Whether Jimmy or Stuart were both injured or not, it sounds like both were probably available to play that first test match. At least one should have played. At least one should have played in each test match, and pretty much both should have played at the same time in both. That's not taking away from what I thought Ollie Robinson did. I thought he was super impressive. And watching him bowl against India in those England conditions earlier 2020, like June, July was it? Last year, he impressed me a lot there. Apologies, I just got a phone call. That's why the little edit in the video. Let's move on. Let's keep going
for a long time. We've only bowled Australia out 4 times in this series, and I understand that is an issue.
Only 4 times they bowled us out in this series. That's a crazy stat. You normally, especially in Australia, you normally bowl a team out at least 6 times. I mean,
but for this game
4
alone,
times they only bowled us out.
There's nothing more that they could have done.
No, also England have taken all 20 wickets in the Ashes Test in Australia for the first time since 2014, which is
that
10
long?
matches ago apparently. So that, I think when you, again, we don't want to be like too excited about this absolute mauling that it has been, but I think you've got to when they bowled well and when they perform well, I think you've got to say it. And I think the bowlers were fantastic. They did a great job. Yep. And once again, obviously, as we've said many, many times, the batters have shafted them. But it was a good start, though, for the batters. 47 for no loss after 9 overs.
Yeah.
That turned
They were
to
none
84
for 60.
for 3. And then, obviously, we know how it's all ended.
They were none,
Cameron Green was fantastic.
None for 60 they were in that last Test match and ended up... Yeah.
Yep.
He blew the game open, got 3 quick wickets, and England just panic, don't they? As soon as things start going... against them, they completely panic and everything goes to shit.
The performances have been woeful. Like it's been an exhausting kind of 5 or 6 weeks. It's genuinely been tough to follow these blokes and try, like genuinely try and support them. It has been hard work to do that.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Like you.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're expressing their emotions and I should not be laughing. I'm sorry.
You're stuck really kind of looking at it going, well, 68 run opening partnership there. And you think, well, yeah, it's good. I mean, it is really.
It's
but
decent.
When you dig just a little bit deeper, you go past the surface, you've got a 26 and a 36. I mean, it's better. It's better than literally what we've had over the last few months. But, I mean... I don't know.
It's not going to. Similar to the Billings thing. When you get, I think that just sums it up. When you get excited about 20s and 30s, that just shows you the sorry state that we've been in for so long, for such a long period of time, and the fact that they're just so susceptible to throwing it completely away. Yeah. If you get to 68 for 1 or 2, and you have another partnership, you get to 200 for 4, 250. Like in a normal game, when you're not chasing something on day 3 or day 4, whatever, it's not so bad. But you're just always waiting for that collapse. Is just always there. Or it always feels like it's just around the corner, doesn't it?
And it kind of feels to me like you when you watch Root get out, and this was obviously a bit of a freak kind of incident, but with these collapses, once Root gets out, that kind of effect on the rest of the team seems enormous, almost to the point.
Does that not feel like it for a fan though? For you, as soon as he gets out, I'm like, I don't care now.
Of course it does, but these lads are meant to be quite good at this sport.
Yeah,
like, I don't think you can. I don't think you can stand there or sit there in the dressing room watching your captain walk back and then suddenly go, "Oh, well, there's not much point anymore." Then, and I'm not saying.
And even Joe Root, of course, came into Australia after having one of the best 2021 calendar years, one of the best batting seasons you'll ever see from an English batsman for sure. But he came to this series, and ever since that first Test match, obviously, ever since that before the Test match started. In Brisbane at the Gabba, he was asked questions, obviously, by the media press conference, shit like that. He already sounded negative from the get-go. He said it's going to be a fight, it's going to be, tough work while we're here, but we believe in ourselves. And, of course, that just sounds like normal stuff. But I feel like from your leader, from your captain, before the series is starting, you want to hear, we're here to win, we want to win, we're here to win. Like, you want to hear positives, not just... We're already on the back ropes before the first ball has been fucking bowled. I mean, what sort of message does that send to the team? You guys know I'm a massive fan of Joe Root, a.k.a. Alan DeGeneres, and I think he's a good captain. I don't think he's a great captain, but they don't have anyone else to lead that team. I think he should remain captain, but I feel like someone else should, he should sit down with some prior England captains and just talk about, what do I need to do? What do you think I need to do to become a better captain and help lead this team out of this absolute pit that their Test match team is in?
But that's kind of that's kind of what it's felt like over the last few months. But yeah, it's you're on.
What do you want to see happen next, though? Like, if we're obviously going to talk about it a lot more, but like just in like a really quick snapshot. What would you want to see happen next? Because I've seen people on Twitter now go, because Burns got that 26, people are like, nah, we got to stick with him. And it's like, for Christ's sake, how many more chances do we give these guys to be mediocre? And I know people keep saying, this seems to be one person said it on Twitter that's got a few followers and actually people respect. And it's, well, and I do understand it, and I completely understand what they're trying to say. They keep saying, if you're going to get rid of someone, you've got to have a replacement. And I think we've got to the point. It's that bad that I don't even think he needs to be that good. I think why would you keep picking this guy who averages 29 in 50 odd, 60 odd, whatever how many innings he's played?
Yeah.
Just give somebody else a go. Like, what are we going to lose? It doesn't matter. We don't have to have the Alistair Cook replacement. We don't have to have an Andrew Strauss replacement or Kevin Peterson or Ian Bell. Like, they're doing so badly that it doesn't matter now.
No,
just give somebody else a go, for fuck's sake.
I think that for me is the point. And I think when you listen to people and when you hear things, and these lads, Crawley included, Milan, Stokes, Pope, etc., they're not early in their Test careers now. Like, they've had many opportunities, and when you hear comments like, well, we've just seen the fact that they can create a partnership. It's like, well, of course they can, and they have done it before. But at 26, if you were 3 innings into your Test career and you picked up a pair in your first Test match and you were in really difficult conditions, which these were, and somebody walks off with a 36 or with a 70 or with a 40 or whatever, you'd go, God, blimey, that is worth looking at. Like, I'll take a step back there, because I haven't seen much of this lad. He's gone out there, he scored some runs in some tough positions, and we'll see what happens with him next. The problem is for so many of these guys, they've had so many opportunities. We've watched them all before. We've seen these moments happen. We've seen them score hundreds. We know they can score hundreds. We've seen it, but we also know what's on the next page of the storybook, and the page after that, and the page after that, and the page after that.
And even the page after that.
Because they are, as you said, 50, 60, 30 innings into their careers now. That's
what I want to... England's 11 that they sent here, I was excited to what, if you've been on this channel long enough, you know that I think Rory Burns is garbage. I don't think he's a Test opener. I don't think he ever will be. I'm sure he's a good bloke. Whenever I say someone's trash or isn't good, I'm sure they're a lovely person. I'm not personally attacking someone, but... Oh, also, I'm sorry. You look a bit stoned here. Rory Burns, he's got to go. Out he gets. Hamid... Him coming to this series, I was kind of excited for him. Didn't show much, to be honest. I think he's someone you can kind of stick with, but not really. Crawley, I think, showed enough to still get more opportunities. He seems like he learnt every time he went out there to the crease. I'd keep, Crawley amongst that top order. Obviously, Root, Milan. Unfortunately, maybe you can play Milan on home soil, but... If he's not on home soil, he can go. Johnny Bairstow can stay. Joe's Butler can get out of the red ball format. Go and focus on your white ball cricket. When you've got someone like Ben Folkes, even Sam Billings, they should be playing, their cricket, whether it's Folkes or Billings. They should be taking the gloves. The bowling lineup is, again, strong. It's just that top order. That's what England has to work through, and they need to find those next opening batsmen, those next top 3, top 4 batsmen that aren't going to go out there, play stupid shots, and go out for absolute bullshit. So, hey, that's the job for England now, to provide a solid top 3 that doesn't bring Joe Root in after the 3rd over.
I think the one thing that I would want to see, regardless of personnel, and I don't know how easy it is, and I'm sure you could argue and say that it's been there, but I'm not convinced it has for a lot of people. But I want to see a change of attitude. I think I want to see people genuinely fight for their positions in these teams.
How much do you read into Burns not take? I know it's a tiny little thing, but does he really want to be out there if he's not willing to sprint into his ground and dive in? And someone made the point that Marnus would have dived in from miles away.
It's those
and
little
jumped back
things.
Up and it butted somebody. No, you wouldn't. I'm joking. But it's the kind of the real desire that I just don't know whether it's quite there. And I do think that obviously then they're not going out there thinking, oh well, it doesn't really matter. They're not doing that. I don't think they're largely it's down to ability. But I think they do need that extra little bit of bite and a bit of... And I know it's been a long series. It probably doesn't help, does it? And when you keep getting kicked in and out of the team, that obviously doesn't help either.
Doesn't help, but then that probably also encourages you to know that you don't actually have to do that well to keep coming back.
Well, I think that's part of it as well. It's like, well, and that's why I think a lot of these guys I don't want to persist with Milan, with Burns, and with these other guys that we see with Pope. I just don't want to persist with these guys at the moment. They might be players in a couple of years' time or in a year's time or whatever. But
I don't mind Ollie Pope. I forgot Ollie Pope when I was going through the lineup just before, but I don't mind Pope. I think he could be a decent number 5, number 6 batsman. I feel like there's still... I know obviously he's played a decent amount of Test cricket now. I still feel like he's someone who's got it. I feel like he wants to be there. He looks like he's got it. He just hasn't put the runs on the board. I feel like whatever... I'd stick with Pope. I think
we've seen enough of them now for a while. And okay, I don't have the exact names right next to me now that I want to replace them with, but there are other players scoring runs in county cricket.
Plenty.
And I don't see the danger now. We got to the point where it's that bad that surely giving somebody else a go is not going to be the worst thing in the world. Similar to Butler. Like, Butler's probably not going to be playing England's next Test match. You wouldn't think.
No.
There's not like an amazing replacement for him, is there? But we've got to change him. Yeah. He's not a Test match player. Like, we've seen enough of him now to realise that. And Australia is not an easy place to go. No. But
unfortunately, you've still got to go there if you want to be an England Test cricketer.
Yeah,
you can't just pick and choose kind of who you play against and where you play, and that
not
that
unless
kind
you're
of,
KP.
True, but that excuse doesn't really wears pretty thin with me. It's like, well, it is tough to go. Player of the pod, the Parry Match Player of the podcast. Just before we kind of wrap
Mark
up,
Wood.
There's a few kind of candidates. You got 3 Aussie bowlers with 3 for.
Oh wait,
and you've got Mark Wood with a 6 for.
What about Travis Head 100?
It kind of it feels a little bit strange to me. As much as I'd love to give it to Mark Wood for taking 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can give it to him, really.
Demolished in this. But the one guy, and somebody's tweeted this afternoon, and we'll talk about it on the podcast, about Cam Green, saying that I said that I thought he was crap.
What?
Well, that's not what I said. I mean, you've chosen what you wanted to hear, what I thought I said.
Okay, good.
I said. But he bowled brilliantly today. And he's developed and he's got better and better as this series has gone on with both of the disciplines that he offers that team. So for me, and you might disagree, and I don't care whether you do.
That is gonna cap it off, guys. Hey, you know, I feel for them. You know, if this was me on their end talking about Australia just went to England and got pumped, I'd be in the exact same state as them. I'd be shaken inside. I'd be brutally hurt. I'd be very upset. I'd be into a deep cricketing depression for a long time. So I feel for you. If you need a chat to vent, I'm here for you. But hey, as an Australian, it's a little bit enjoyable to watch people be upset about their England team because it's just that rivalry, isn't it? But hey. With all jokes aside, I hope they're good. I'm sure they're okay. But hey, that is going to cap it off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.